Hi friends, hi loves, hey fools, how y'all doing? Hey, I had no idea what I really want to talk about today because there is so much really. There's so much that's happening, there's so much that's happened, there's so much going on, there's so much emotion, there's so much that wants to be expressed and known and acknowledged and shared. So, um, as I was just getting ready to press record, I have this book in front of me, and I just thought, why not? I'll just pick that up. And it's my Sacred Art of Listening by Kay Wendell, founder of the Listening Center. And I just opened it and flipped to Listening is a Creative Force that Teaches Patience. And that was exercise number 1, which says qualities of deep listening, listening for essence. And so I want to share that with you before we begin, or before I begin with whatever wants to be expressed. And listening has been a huge thing right now, and it's always been. So are we listening, and what are we listening to? And also brings up a thought that I had a little bit earlier today about challenging ourselves to become aware if we're listening with the intent to reply or with the intent to understand, with the intent to make room and hold space to seek a new understanding. And so, that's kind of funny. Because what we're hearing and seeing, may be different than what actually is. And so, how does that tie into seeing as believing or believing as seeing? And how do those two, kind of affect each other? How do our beliefs filter what we see? And how do we filter what we see through our beliefs? And so those are some interesting questions, and I do have several questions because I've been asking lots of questions, looking at different questions. So, qualities of deep listening, listening for essence. Perhaps one of the most precious and powerful gifts we can give another person is to really listen to them, to listen with quiet, fascinated attention, with our whole being fully present. This sounds simple, but if we are honest with ourselves, we do not often listen to each other so completely. Listening is a creative force. Something quite wonderful occurs when we are listening to fully, or when we are listened to fully. Something quite wonderful occurs when we are listened to fully. We expand, ideas come to life and grow, we remember who we are. Some speak of this force as a creative fountain within us that springs forth. Others call it the inner spirit, intelligence, true self. Whatever this force is called, it shrivels up when we are not listened to, and it thrives when we are. The way we listen can actually allow the other person to bring forth what is true and alive to them. Sometimes we have to do a lot of listening before the fountain is replenished. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to need to talk? They go on and on, usually in a very superficial, nervous manner. This is often because they have not been truly listened to. Patience is required to listen to such a person long enough for them to get to their center point of tranquility and peace. The results of such listening are extraordinary. Some would call them miracles. Listening well takes time, skill, and a readiness to slow down, to let go of expectations, judgments, boredom, self-assertiveness, defensiveness. I've noticed that when people experience the depth of being listened to like this, they also begin to listen to others in the same way. Listening is an art that calls for practice. Imagine if we all spent just a few minutes each day practicing the art of listening, being fully present with the person we are with. There would be a collective sigh of contentment and joy. Listen. Listening is a creative force that teaches patience. It's interesting. There's the little mandala that goes with it. Kind of reminds me of piano keys or something, some kind of instrument. It's interesting. So that's funny too. Like, I hadn't read that before. I just read it aloud, and it actually syncs up with what I was writing in my journal this morning. I'd had a strange dream this morning, and yeah, there's just some weird themes in it, and then like the conversation that I was having with my husband this morning kind of like led into some of those themes in certain ways. And so I was like, oh, all right, thanks for this. And I guess it's something for me to look at, and I'm willing. So yeah, it's about like communication and reciprocal exchange and understanding and extending allowance to the other to have their own experience, their own myth, their own story, their own beliefs, their own choices, and all of that. And so there's a couple things that I wrote down and I'll share. Yeah. I'll just share some of my little dream snippets and themes. I won't explain the whole dream, but I'll just, give a little summary. And so one of the themes in the dream, so there's this character. He's a high roller. He's clever. He's a marketer. He's a wheeler dealer, con artist, or usurper, or collector, narcissist. I have equals I am. And so that's like the ego, you know, what we think we have equals who we are. And that's interesting to look at. So it's lower ego, the status, image, identity, commodity, instant gratification, fear, desire, cycles, hamster wheel, delusions, illusion, and confusion. So we were going to an event of some kind with the family. We're somewhere traveling. And then there's some kind of a pool scene outdoors, a get-together, some kind of a peer or social gathering, some kind of player, this white middle-aged male who represents the lower ego and the desire, fear, control of the fallen patriarchy, possession and devaluing, stereotyping, labeling, naming and negating for usury, debt, or slavery. The banter is easy, but it's contrived, and retelling or reinforcing old myths, stories, and lies. Scripts that keep our minds boxed in or locked in to the description, propping up the core or false beliefs that run and activate the role, story, image, dynamic program of control and behavioral conditioning, our acting, our playing at being carried away through the story. We're playing in, out, and through our relationships. So, in there was another part of this dream where I was traveling as a passenger in the backseat of the car with some family members, and having a kind of a interaction with two males, kind of conflicting interaction, like a battle of wills in certain ways, where we're all stubborn and we all think we're right, and unwilling to see through a different light. And so in this dream, I have a little open sore on my forearm. It was strange because I didn't have this tattoo either, but it was like just kind of like a little hole in my arm that was kind of tender, but it looked like it was getting bigger or deeper. And like I can see it and it looks like it's an inch deep. And they think I'm not taking it seriously, and they think I'm being unreasonable. And I see it as a flesh wound that needs attention. They see it as certain infection and death, certain doom and gloom, like it's a flesh-eating bacteria or the dreaded gumbo. And they think I'm delusional, and they're pretty angry with me for not listening to them or going along with what they're saying or what they're seeing, what they think it is. So I'm not listening or following the program of expert authority and follow ordering. And I'm getting upset with them for not hearing me, taking my thoughts and my inner knowing seriously, and my own right to experience, choose, heal, and be as I see fit. And so, yeah, that's interesting. It's an interesting theme, and it does relate to, like, what are we allowing, like, and are we choosing tyranny? Are we choosing, like, this concept that there's only one right way, and that authority knows best, or father knows best, or science or scientism knows best, what's best for everyone? So this dream brought up feelings of frustration, exasperation, disbelief, and different machinations, all constructs of the mind. It's all the mind, all in the mind. Is it a poisoned mind, or is there peace of mind? Is there a clear mind or confused mind? Confused mind. Does this have to do with inner conflicts, or is it an invitation to remind, to attend to my well-being and let go and unwind? So I went to bed early last night. I've been on this different schedule than I've been used to, and it's interesting because I used to be like the biggest night owl, and now I'm finding that I really like mornings, and mornings are my friend. Mornings are my friend again, so thank you, morning. Yeah, I've been enjoying that and getting better rest. So yeah, I like that. Feels good. So yeah, I've been waking up pretty early before the sun rises, and yeah, that's been good. And so started writing at like 6 o'clock this morning maybe, and my husband was telling me about something silly he was seeing on social media. Propaganda, stories, myths that are meant to reinforce certain agendas, beliefs, confirmation bias, echo chambers, like playing into all of that. And it is like interesting to see those things in certain ways too, playing out through like our own mechanisms, our survival strategies, and like our need to be right, and our need to reinforce like our ego stories and all of that, like so that we can be comfortable and sure. That's kind of funny. Yeah, but there's so much to say about that too, and maybe I'll just allow myself to. And I am feeling a little emotional today, but I'm feeling good. But yeah, I do feel this snarky side coming up. It just fed up with just bullshit. But like, and if it applies to you and you're listening to me, please don't take it personally, because it's not meant to be personally. It's just something I'm working out for me and through my ways of being. So we can disagree. We can agree to disagree, and maybe, move beyond the need to be right or seem right or feel right or appear right, or hold on to our story or the identity that's attached to that story. So yeah, seeing some of like the family still buying into some of the programs and the propaganda, I don't feel as angry about it anymore. I'm more accepting about it because I love them and I care about them. And I'm just like kind of resigned in a way that they will learn in their own time and when it's right for them. Like, and it doesn't matter, like, if they never see the light or the light that I'm seeing or the light that I'm seeing through, then that's okay too. I don't need them to change. I get to change me and I get to change my mind. And so, but it still does, like, it feels frustrating a little bit, like, that they're still, like, really clinging hard to certain stories and certain myths and certain old beliefs. But I know it's, like, really painful to let go of those things. And it really does hurt. And it's when we have our tower collapse and crumble away. And so, like, I really don't wish that on them either. Like, you know, like, however it's meant to be, however it's supposed to be. Like, I wish them well, and I hope for a graceful resolution so we can all be well. But, like, yeah, it's not up to me, and I can't control any of those things. And I don't want to, and I don't need to. I don't feel the need to anymore. Like, a lot of it was about wanting to protect them in certain ways, but I can't do that either, I don't think. And so I can't protect them from pain or from unpleasantness or from suffering. And so that's probably what makes me feel sad, is that I'm feeling powerless in certain ways. But, like, just gotta let it go and let it be and let it unfold through its own ways. Because I'm not going to put demands on how they should be or what their healing or what their journey should look like, seem, or be. And so, but it does kind of make me feel sad or bring up feelings of sadness when I see them deep in all of that programming, you know. And it's just funny, it's not really been in my space. Haven't been focusing on that. Like, I've been focusing on me and what I can choose and what I get to do, and that's been great for me. And it's been a really great break from social media. It's been about 50 days now for me. And I do, like, I'd appreciate the space that's opened up for me, and it's helped me go within more deeply and cultivate deeper intimacy with me and take more time to listen and go within and cultivate the relationships that are here for me, and really tuning into what's available and what's accessible now, and what we're being born into and what we're saying goodbye to and all of that. And so it is part of my healing journey, and I'm grateful for that. So it's not just mine, though. I know it's related. So if I'm going through it, I know others can relate, and others, may have similar experiences coming up, and all of that. And so, let's see, feelings of sadness and some overwhelm. There's frustration that the true believers and the doomer gloomers reinforce their stories, myths, and tales with this bullshit propaganda. Oh well. I guess that's just a part of it, seeing that we all have our agendas in certain ways to confirm or validate our own projections and beliefs, biases, descriptions, fears, and feelings of this mess that we're playing in. So anyway, the propaganda is meant to color the lenses of perception, reinforce the pre-programmed agendas of there is only one right way. Do as we say, do what you're told, trust us. We know better than you. Attitude. Sigh. And don't think too hard about this. We'll take care of you. Let us help you. Help us help you. LOL. And it is sad. So what to choose? What to allow? What is this pointing to? What is it that makes me feel so sad and frustrated by this or about this? Is it the trickery, manipulation, deception, usurpation hijacking entrancement? Or is it the gullible nature of our inner child that wants to be cared for and believes all the stories they're fed to continue living out lies? And so that's like kind of like, yeah, because we want to believe what we're being told. Is that why we keep reinforcing that? And really, it's just as simple, yeah, as the symptoms of a common cold. Or, you know, is it something that points to something much deeper, you know? Yeah. I don't know. So I'll be okay not to know right now. But like, yeah, just kind of trying to sort out some of these things. What's mine and what's not mine. And yeah, is this an old script, an old program, an old story? Or is there something that's asking for attention and reclamation or redirection, or something playing out in my little world being projected? So good things to look at and reflect on. So choosing to buy into this tale and invest into the lies because it props up their ego and reinforces their side. They need to believe in the projections they've been taught to unconsciously drive. They can't or are really unable to open to any other side of the story or any other perspective. Can't admit to their own blind side, because we all have our blind side. And I also had a dream about that, which is really strange, where I was sitting in bed next to a friend who I don't really know in real life, but like in the dream I knew them and they were familiar. So it was a male, and he had like a totally normal face on one side, and then the other side of his face was totally blank. It was a blank canvas. There was like nothing there but skin. And so it was interesting, and I thought about kind of like just the one eye, yeah, and the inner eye and the outer eye, yeah, and it just kind of made me, yeah, look into that a little bit, and the blank canvas and the blank side and the blind side. Is that our true seeing side, or what is that about? And I'm willing to look deeper into that too. So that was just the other day, and it's kind of relates. So let's see. They can't admit to their own blind side, their own darkened light, their own pride. And how do we relate or communicate authentically and fully when there is only one right side that's meant to conquer and divide? That's all lies, real lies. What haven't we been able to see yet? And what are we willing to see about our own stories, beliefs, myths, truth, and lies? Our own stories that we like to tell, or the lies that we choose to breathe life into and drive. So I don't know. So I asked myself some questions. What wounds are asking for attention or healing and integration? Do these relate to old memories, trauma, and the need, our true needs of belonging? So I can see how those things can relate and kind of be exploited. And so what is asking for release or reception? How does this relate to my dream and my feelings of repulsive rejection, emotional reaction? What wants to be expressed, seen, acknowledged, met with love, curiosity, presence, and insight? And so what's mine and what's not mine? Differentiation, suspension, and healthy skepticism. So don't believe everything you think. Don't believe everything. that you believe sometimes. Don't believe everything you see. So, what am I consenting to? What am I feeding my attention into? What am I choosing and intending? What am I feeling? And what am I creating? What concepts of expansion do my core beliefs support or reinforce? And how does this color my own lens of perception and what I am able to see or observe as reality? What am I grieving and what am I resisting? What am I living for? What am I fighting for? What am I celebrating, thinking, praising, experiencing? Where am I giving my power away? And where am I, or can I be more true to me? What is asking to be reclaimed and honored more fully? So the repulsive, repellent rejection is related to feelings of aversion, avoidance, control, powerlessness, and the need to fix things or relieve suffering, to make it more comfortable, pleasant, tolerable, or better, or more pleasing, to avoid the pain of disease, dis-ease, or what is no longer working or serving the integrity and fullness of the whole. So we don't want to keep seeing, feeling, experiencing pain, guilt, shame, and suffering, so we give our own power away, or just push this energy away, and then blame, reject, or condemn the perceived source of our pain, when this is a part of the antidote and remedy for our suffering. So expectations, ideals, preferences, prejudice, and resentments, preconceived notions, implanted beliefs, inherited myths, lies, constructs, and stories, pass through generational cycles of trauma-based mind control, slavery, ego flattery, exploitation, manipulation, domination, and control, inverted perverse systems of the matrix, Borg, hive mind, the fiction of separation, chaos, fragmentation, isolation, disconnection, false light, false perception. We can only see as much as our beliefs allow us to, if we so choose, to cling to false images rather than true vision and wisdom. If our beliefs cannot be challenged, confronted, examined, and questioned by ourselves or others, then they are quite flimsy and they do not have one solid leg to stand upon or to stand on. So is this why we're so defensive and offended, so stubborn and rigid? Because we know deep inside the lies we are living or playing into or feeding or recycling through? Is it more painful to admit we were wrong or we may be wrong? Or is it more painful for us to go along, to get along, to belong in the long run? Perhaps it's different for everyone. And who am I to say that you're wrong? So just don't expect me to follow along or sing your song of conform to belong, because I will not enable you or your bullshit sandwich that you choose to keep chewing on. But I do love you and care about you, and maybe that's why I feel so strong, or feel so strongly about what I'm seeing, witnessing, perceiving, and experiencing. Because I am concerned about your, our, and my well-being, and our freedom to be, live, and embody our own true well-being. So I will choose to plant seeds and offer a new or a different perspective. It's all up to you if you so choose to be open to hearing, allowing, and considering another way, or hearing another perspective. Another way of seeing, operating, and being connected. So are we open? Are we open to hearing another perspective? Are we open to considering another perspective? Are we open to allowing another perspective? Are we open to allowing another story or another version of the story? Other versions of our stories? So, are you open to hearing another or a wider perspective? And why? If you're not, why is that? If you are, why is that? What's the agenda or the need or the desire behind that? So if so, can you suspend judgments, beliefs, and agendas? Or are you willing to let go of the image or the identity that is attached to the group consensus or the established perspectives or the establishment's perspectives, directives, agendas, programs, and projections? Is there room for another story, myth, or perspective? And can we make room? Are we willing to make room to hear something else, to see something different, to consider or open to something that may be possible, or just to listen to another, to understand where they're at or where they're coming from or what they've experienced? And one more question. And my pen was running out of ink, so this is hard to see, but maybe it's just kind of funny and a part of the cosmic monkey. So maybe this is the question that I get to see more fully in certain ways. So is it automatically disordered or rejected through cognitive dissonance and knee-jerk reactions? So yeah, maybe I get to look a little bit more into that. Where might I be experiencing cognitive dissonance? And am I aware of my knee-jerk reactions? I am most of the time, yeah. But sometimes it takes hindsight. Yeah. So, yeah. It has been about, kind of letting go of control and letting go of what I think I know, and letting go of my fears and embracing the unknown, and like just remembering what's really true and what I really value and what I really love, and like the rest of it can just be a story in certain ways. Like I'll allow it to be what it is. It's part of the story. And so yeah, I'll just allow the story for now. Like I'll allow it, and I won't be attached to the story. And so, what I was writing down yesterday, oh yeah, and it's kind of funny, I went to bed early again, but I woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning and I was wide awake, so I just decided to get up for a little bit and just do some things around the house and clear and clean some space and do some little things like making my kombucha that I didn't get to the day before. And just kind of, okay, what do I get to work with and play with? And I'm awake, so yeah, what to choose and how to direct my energy and all that. So I guess maybe I'm just getting in the zone, or just in hyper cleanup mode, hyper cleanup, reset, preparation, nesting mode, and that's okay. So wake up and play. Fucking A, just play. It's all love, okay? Just play. And an opportunity for love, a gift of love, or a cry for love. It's all love, okay? It's an opportunity, a gift, or a cry, or a call for love. And being, witnessing, experiencing, sharing, creating, dreaming, seeing, blessing, releasing, honoring, freeing, becoming, everything, all, nothing. So yeah, I got some good things to choose, to play with, work with, attend to, show up for, receive, and flow, grow, move towards and into. New love, enchantment, ideas and inspiration, patterns, soulmate, signs, and revelations. Mirror images, divine communication, art and love, farewells and celebrations. Greetings and initiations, cycles and integration, rhythm, song, keys, and stories of creation. Myths, archetypes, our poetry of the ages, Psyche and Eros, the I am recalibration, synthesis, wholeness, harmonization, for God's self-realization. And little by little, bit by bit, take one step and let go to be with all of it. Just be me and show up for it. I am love, and love is all of this. So, light codes, awakening, activations, revelry, joy and peace alive in me, radiating outward from inside of me. My heart is full and I'm dreaming all this love I need for me, all this love I want to be, all this love to embody, share, receive, dream, and be in and through my being. Ask for help and surrender to be right here with me. Let go, let God, let love be free. Okay, so, one thing that I realized yesterday, I realized certain things weren't going to work anymore. old strategies that may have worked in the past are no longer going to work. They're going to require such a crazy amount of energy. It's just not going to be the same anymore, like in certain ways. So that's kind of like messages that I'm getting. It's just some strategies will cease to work in the same ways. They will be a great waste of energy. The towers are collapsing, the old ways of operating. It's better to surrender and ask for help, to discern and to be guided. Letting go, I observe. Love's focus ignited, I am guided, I am held, and love's invited. All is well. I am willing to witness, observe, and receive, and get out of my own way. And the archetypes that are coming up for me lately, it's kind of funny, and it's quite a few dreams lately. For a little bit there, I wasn't like recalling or remembering any of my dreams, and now I have, like, the last couple weeks been recalling a lot more. And I wonder if that has to do with like me not being on social media, or like it just kind of I'm willing to recall and remember these things, and just like kind of surrendering and letting go, and then it's just going with the flow. So one of the archetypes, the whore, keeps coming up, and so that's interesting too in certain ways, because it does relate to something I was reading while I was on vacation, and it was the care of the soul. Let me see if it's here. It's probably still in my room. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to, I think it's by Thomas More, and he was talking about intimacy and what can happen when we decide to ignore a certain aspect, and how they can come in and cause some little snags for us that we get caught up or into. And that had to do with like Aphrodite and us not paying attention to those things, or maybe neglecting the importance of certain things as far as intimacy goes. And sensuality and sexuality, and that direction of life force goes. So anyway, the whore, the idealist, the romantic, the orphan, the imposter, the ghost, the saboteur, the perfectionist, the amateur and the master, the beginner, the initiate, the student, witness, teacher, the child, the mother, the child, the father, the mother, father, child, the brother, sister, the epicure. So some of my animal totems that are coming up and saying hello. Mouse and vulture and dove, eagle, condor, sparrow, seagull, hawk, goose, heron, alligator, butterfly, wolf, coyote, monkey, satyr, dragon, unicorn, bat, spider, fly, dog, cat, turkey, chicken, bear, deer, raven, crow, snake, lion, tiger, and scarab. So there's just like different things where either they'll come up in certain images or certain visions through my mind's eye, or in my space, in my actual physical space. I'll observe them, or there's a story about them, or there's a memory, or there's some kind of relationship that's showing me something about what's going on with me in my inner world and the outer. That's because they're not separate. And so I always pay attention to those things, because one relates to the other, and they can unify the whole and help me see different things that I haven't seen, or see them in different ways, through different perspectives, through different medicines. And so that's how I work with like the animal totems and our animal friends and teachers. And so I'm always very aware and grateful for their assistance and their offerings, their gifts of wisdom. And something came up the other day. It's interesting. A lot of the people that I socialize with and whatnot, they're, for the most part, on the same page as I am about different things. But there are a few that I guess have their own ways, and I'm really curious about certain things, but haven't felt like I've been able to ask them questions because it just hasn't really felt like the right time, or maybe something that they'd be open to or whatever. But I have been thinking about different things, reviewing certain things, and I realized a couple weeks ago it's very disorienting for me to see all these people with masks on, and that's like one part of it that bothers me a lot, is because I can't see like who you are or like what you're trying to tell me if I can't see your face, because it's really, really important to me, and I didn't realize like how important to me it was until like certain things weren't available or certain things were concealed. Like I didn't realize like how much information and how much I rely on this nonverbal communication and like response to stimuli and things. It is like a huge deal for me as being a communicator, seeing facial expressions and like all the subtle things, like the very, very subtle expressions that we have. And I feel like a deer caught in the headlights sometimes when it's like I can't, it's like concealed. Like it's like talking with a person or to a person that has really dark sunglasses on, and you don't really know where they're looking or if they're actually paying attention or what's going on under those lenses, sometimes. And I didn't realize like how disorienting it is for me to have that concealed from my attention. And it's just certain ways that I feel about it too, like where it is like it's not on the up and up, and it's not scientific, and it makes no actual sense, but for like compliance and for conditioning and for conditioning or programming us to follow orders, And so I just thought I would follow up on some of the things that I kind of realized. So I just wrote this little piece, and I'm not like angry about it like I was anymore. Like I was furious about it like a couple months ago. I was just furious and angry about it because it didn't seem like anyone wanted to listen to reason or to sense or to even another scientific perspective that doesn't align with big pharma and their agendas. So what the masks symbolize to me: secrecy, suppression, suffocation, smothering, silencing, submission, fear, self-righteousness, convenience, laziness, pride, cowardice, confusion, disorientation, manipulation, deception, disguise, amnesia, sacrificial lamb programming, virtue signaling, compliance, a deer caught in the headlights, transhumanism, technocratic agendas, entrancement, agreeing unconsciously or consciously to slavery, giving our power away. And so, sometimes I'll look at someone or I'll see someone, and especially the black masks. I don't know, for some reason for me, those are the worst of the worst. Or the ones that match clothing or like are trying to be trendy. Those are just awful. Like I see them as such there's not even a word that I can use that would encompass or do it justice, like the feelings that I have about them. So I'll just leave it at that for now. But yeah, the black masks, they're just awful and horrible and ugly. Like, ugly is sin to me. Like, I'm repelled by them. Like, I'm repelled by the whole thing because of what it symbolizes to me. And I realize too, like, not everybody is aware of like how it looks or seems. It's probably different for everyone, and how we feel about it, and what we believe about it, what we believe to be true about it. And so I'm just kind of doing my best to make peace with that too. And I realize too, like, people have their own reasons for what they choose or what they feel like they're consenting to. Yeah. But consent, there's, disclosure, informed consent, is with full disclosure, and that hasn't been the case. So we don't even know what we're consenting to and what we're choosing and how it contributes or depletes our own well-being, So yeah, there's knee-jerk reactions sometimes where it's like there's a part of me that's just repelled by it and wants to reject it. But there's another side of me that's like really wants more to understand it. And I can accept it too. Like, if people are fearful, I totally have compassion for that, and I can accept that. Like, I'm sorry that you're afraid. I'm sorry, that you feel so fearful about catching a cold or some disease, and you feel like that's the solution. All right, maybe that'll work for you, but don't expect all of us to. Like, follow one way of being. So one part of me says you look like a damn freak show in your stupid mask. And one part of me says you are a tool, you're a fake, a fraud, and a slave. You are the state's useful idiot, playing their game, playing into their game. Another part of me says, that's strange. What's your real reason for covering your face? That is, or feels pretty disorienting for me. And some of the concealing some of the major clues of human emotion expression, social cues, and nonverbal communication. It feels disorienting for me not to see your face, your lips, smile, frown, or your poker face. Who are you? Are you familiar? Are you safe? What is your intent? It's like talking to someone through dark lenses, but to the nth degree, and it just makes no scientific or actual sense. But I know you're sincere in your beliefs and intentions, even if they are unexamined or emotional reactions. Yeah. And so, that's just how I feel about it. And it doesn't make me like angry seeing someone in a mask, but it makes me feel like a little bit concerned for their well-being. And then like the culture of conformity that keeps being reinforced and propped up through these little props, because we would have probably forgotten the story if we didn't have these props and these scripts being parroted and being repeated. And then, like the vision or the false images that kind of make the story more real in certain ways. And so, I've been looking at stories. And so one of my things I wrote a couple days ago, observe letting go, I observe letting go. Allowing stories, feelings, thoughts, witnessing, detaching, or differentiating, discerning, observing, learning, self-love, self-care, self-honoring, envision, dreaming, asking for, imagining, inviting, focus on love appreciation. So, stories. Tell a story of what is and is becoming, being created. what has been manifested into being. What is my reality? Tell a story about my dream and its reality. Its gifts, potency, and solidity, legitimacy, love for me and we, love for giving, receiving, being. And I had some questions. What do I want? What am I resisting? What am I afraid of? What am I made of? What am I capable of? What am I creating? What am I inviting? What am I igniting? What am I intending? What am I attending? What am I nourishing or feeding? What am I envisioning? What am I practicing? What am I choosing? What am I claiming? What am I releasing? What am I making room for? What am I showing up for? What are my agreements? What are my loyalties? What are my commitments? How am I feeling? What are my needs? What can I offer or allow for all of me? What can I receive and give and offer to me for my well-being? Yeah, so good questions to look at, because if I'm feeling powerless about certain things, then it's time to reclaim my own power for my well-being. And my mind is the only one that I can change. And so, yeah, where do I get to change my own mind? Or where do I get to honor my feelings and look at my stories and my beliefs about what I'm seeing? And so, yeah, and it really hasn't, it's kind of funny, it really hasn't been bothering me all that much, but just sometimes I'll notice, and maybe it's just seeing a little bit deeper now that I'm not so angry, oh, that's what this is about. It's very disorienting for me, and I don't like that, yeah. And then everything else that goes along with it too, sometimes that I, yeah, either pick up on or maybe projecting on too. And so that's good to look at those things and discern where that's sourcing from. And yeah, just kind of moving into more of the acceptance and still allowing me to grieve where I'm feeling sad, and and it is a way to isolate us, and if we just look and see if we can drop our own masks, and look and see at what they symbolize for us or what they mean to us, maybe we can gain a little bit of insight into that. So I do want to encourage everyone to start looking at their core beliefs and looking at maybe some inherited beliefs or some engineered beliefs or implanted beliefs, or maybe just generational beliefs, generational patterns, beliefs in certain institutions, beliefs in authority, beliefs in ideology, beliefs about our history, beliefs about our relationships, beliefs about who we are. So can we start to confront, examine, question, challenge certain beliefs? And what beliefs are we comfortable challenging, and what beliefs are we not comfortable challenging, and what can that tell us? And can we listen to ourselves? Can we listen to others? Can we ask more questions with the intent to listen and understand, or to gain a new perspective, or to see another perspective? Can we entertain another thought without necessarily agreeing with it? Can we open to possibilities? Can we let go or suspend certain stories or beliefs to be empty? Can we go within and ask for help and guidance? Can we pray or meditate or contemplate or be open to receiving what we need to see, or what we haven't been able to see yet for our true well-being. Well, can we allow ourselves to let go of what we've been clinging to the identity, to the attachments, to our agendas, in order to make room for a wider perspective, or to broaden our own perspectives, or to share with each other our experiences, feelings, and stories without needing to compete or compare or defend. And so, yeah, that was one thing about, what I was feeling is that why we're so stubborn and rigid? Like, sometimes because we don't want to be wrong, or because we're afraid of seeing what we haven't seen, or swallowing our pride, or are we afraid of the tower collapsing? Like, if this one belief doesn't hold, oh my God, it's just everything I've ever known. It's just a lie, and it's a lie that I've been told, And then I know that's painful too, and that's why I don't, like, in a lot of ways, like, I don't really ever want to say I told you so, like, because I don't want, like, I don't need to hold on to my pride to be right and watch someone else, like, die inside, Like, I already know how hard it is when our beliefs come crashing down, or, like, when everything we've ever known, like, collapses into, like, the dirt, and, we feel so alone. Like, I don't wish that on anyone, but I know that, like, sometimes that needs to happen in certain ways, but I know it's, like, a different journey for everyone. And so it's just, like, doing my best to allow, and I do wish everyone well, and I do wish them so much mercy and grace and peace and the best possible outcome, like, of all the unraveling and all that's coming out. Like, I know it's painful, like, but if we keep fighting it and we keep resisting it and we keep denying and rejecting it, it's just going to be even that more painful too, like, to let go. Or I don't know, maybe it just sometimes maybe it has to be painful for us to let go. I don't know, like, I guess it's different for everyone, and on our road, So I know how painful it's been for me sometimes to let go. So it can be really, really hard. It can be the hardest thing, like, just letting go of what we think we know. So I do have compassion for that. And I just want to encourage, like, deep looking and deep seeing and deep inquiry and deep asking and reflecting. And let's ask ourselves some questions, and can we soften, and can we open, and can we let go to see another story, another perspective? Can we let go of the ways that we've seen ourselves and others? Can we let go of blame? Can we let go of some of this pain that we've chosen to carry, that we no longer need to carry? Yes, let's totally acknowledge the pain that we're feeling, and the pain and suffering that we're all going through, our dark night of the soul. Can we allow all things to exist so that we can look into all possibilities and all ways of being and all stories and all ways of healing through our ways of being and operating? Can we cooperate and listen? How can we listen more deeply? And how can we cultivate patience with ourselves and others? And can we let go of the need to be right or to be seen as right? And is it okay to be wrong or to make mistakes? And is it okay to learn? And is it okay to grow? And is it okay to change? Can we give ourselves permission to learn, grow, change, and make mistakes and correct those mistakes, or course correct? Can we agree to disagree? Can we honor the other in their own ways? Can we honor their own experience and their own journey, and let them be like as they are, and love them either as they are or from a distance, you know? And so yeah, those are some things that are coming up for me today. And I think I'll share one more thing. I'll just flip open this book. It's just winking at me right here. It's called Aphrodite's Daughters. Women's Sexual Stories and the Journey of the Soul. I'm just going to flip it open and see what we get. So, glasses are a little bit foggy. Let me wipe them off. So this paragraph that I'm drawn to is the second paragraph. And I'm not even sure what it is, so let's see. It's on page 81. Without warning, wrote the Greek poet Sappho 2.5 millennia ago, as a whirlwind swoops on an oak, love shakes my heart. Exhilarating, terrifying, and unpredictable, passion descends out of the clear blue sky and sweeps us up and away like autumn leaves. The ego may tremble as love spins us around, turns us upside down and inside out, but the soul rejoices as it tumbles into the arms of the golden goddess. And so when Eros called, Hannah offered no resistance, but descended willingly into Aphrodite's deep ocean waters. That's interesting. That's interesting. I don't know if I read in this video this little thing that I wrote down about Psyche and Eros. Because that myth has been coming up a lot for me lately. And I feel like it's one of my myths that I get to acknowledge, observe, and integrate, or transform, transmute. Yeah. This is kind of funny, in a way. Like, yeah, how that relates. And I want to read that one more time, because there's something there. Without warning, wrote the Greek poet Sappho 2.5 millennia ago. As a whirlwind swoops on an oak, love shakes my heart. Exhilarating, terrifying, and unpredictable, passion descends out of the clear blue sky and sweeps us up and away like autumn leaves. The ego may tremble as love spins us around, turns us upside down and inside out, but the soul rejoices as it tumbles into the arms of the golden goddess. And so when Eros called, Hannah offered no resistance, but descended willingly into Aphrodite's deep ocean waters. So yeah, like, it's about surrender and letting go. And knowing, like, yeah, it is scary. And it doesn't feel very good sometimes. But it is, like, in service to the whole. And that's, you know, true for the soul. So, can we let go of the pain that we're carrying to make room to receive the joy that is, and that's always been within us? Just waiting for our attention and reception and welcoming in. Yeah. I like that. I'm looking into that a little bit more. But yeah, if I can find this little thing about Psyche and Eros. Oh, okay. Maybe I shared it in my last video. I'll look for it next time. But yeah, that's kind of funny. I like those kinds of winks. Yeah. Sometimes they feel like coinkydinks, but like there are no accidents, you know? So I hope you're well. I hope you're being love for yourself. Um, what's been going on lately? What's been growing? What's been receding? Yeah. What have you been moving towards? What have you been moving away from? Yeah. What have you been surrendering, welcoming, letting go of? What are you creating? How are you participating? How are you showing up? And yeah, how does that relate to some of these themes and stories and aspects of this grand story that we're all a part of? All right. I hope you're well. I love you. I thank you. I bless you. And farewell for now.